Hello, hello, hello.
That's better.
Hello, and welcome back to the Mark Vevers podcast. My guest is Darren Hollywell here, all the way from the UK.
I'm so cheap that I don't want to upgrade to the Zoom, whatever it is, Zoom.
Yeah.
Because you'll know yourself from doing the podcast. There's so many little hidden costs with things to do stuff.
Well, like I say, if you start getting quite a bit of a following and people actually enjoy these podcasts, and most people will, like to help you out. I was doing a podcast a while ago, and I had some people that really wanted to. I mean, even if it was just 4 or 5 listeners, they were like, "Oh man, I really want you to keep doing it," and they were offering me, a couple of bucks a week to help out, and I was like, "Nah, honestly, it's fine."
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if it does get to the point, I mean, some people make their living off a podcast, man. Even the lead singer of the Darkness has started doing podcasts, and that's the what.
Follow the Justin Hawkins Rides Again.
Is that where he plays the guitar and listens to different songs on YouTube?
On his YouTube.
Yeah.
It's so good, man. I'm just quite nerdy with all that. But it's just, the whole thing with this podcast for me has been from being away at that week in London. I'd spoke to so many people that were all saying these same things about, not feeling good enough or feeling embarrassed to try something and see when I'm looking at you, when you're talking about with, coming into the sort of the band when you came back and you said, I didn't feel comfortable, just going in and having a bash or something. I think I had it in my mind that I'm sure you did try some stuff when you came in and you were just humming out some melodies and humming out some words and stuff. And I remember having a conversation with Eves and I think it was Rod. No, it wasn't Rod. It was Eves and Martin at the time. And we're saying like how good it felt when you came in and you were just bashing stuff out. And it felt like so seamless and effortless. And I've always looked like a bit enviously at you because I could give you a song and you just like stick some amazing melodies and like lyrics to it. And I'm like, oh man, like I wish I could do that. And then
I think it's a
problems too.
Yeah. I think sometimes for me it can be a front sometimes. Like I don't always feel that confident. I sometimes just put it on. I think it's something that I've been, it's been drilled into me since high school. Like you just kind of have to just get on with it, eh? And it's all through high school you realize, okay, because I got bullied quite a bit in high school and middle school, so you just figure out that okay, life's gonna throw shit bags at you all the time. And that they even do now. There's going to be people in the world, even adults, that are just, just animals.
Yeah.
And you just gotta kind of just say, right, well, they don't matter. The only people that matter are the people that actually that respect you and want to build you up rather than push you down.
Yeah.
A good case of this is Not Now, Norman.
Yeah.
The who's the lead singer? Taylor. Yeah. She's in the same boat. I've been watching her TikToks and stuff like that as well, and she's gone from being not a very confident person. If you can get her on, have a chat.
Oh, they've already been on, mate. Their episode's already out. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the same. So she's gone from being not confident to standing in front of crowds and just loving life.
I think what she's doing is amazing. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Was Taylor's younger than us, though, isn't she?
Oh hell yeah,
yeah. I was because when you were saying that, I was thinking I sometimes feel really bad because there's people that like they were in our year at school or in the same kind of cliques as us, and there's people that I meet as an adult and think to myself, like they'll speak to me and I think I have no recollection of you. Do you know what? It just feels really
and you feel like an absolute dick.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not like I'm not just saying to be an arse, but like it's I don't know. There's something wrong with my brain. There's sometimes people have whole conversations with me for like can go on for like days and weeks, and I think, who are you? Like,
Yeah.
where do I know you from?
Yeah.
Again, it's that whole clique thing, isn't it? In high school,
Yeah.
and
And
there's
it
a
makes
lad
you
that I
think that
work
you,
with
yeah,
who, like, he'd said to me, I remember you from high school. He was in a couple of years below, and I had no recollection. And he was mentioning people in my year. I think he mentioned you as well. And he was
right.
like, oh yeah, Zenon and Gaz and this and that. And I was thinking, it's a weird perspective thing, because everyone's in their own little bubble.
Maybe we were in the clique that other people wanted to be into that you don't really realize. You think yourself that you think, oh, I'm in between there. I'm not in it. But maybe these kind of people looked at us and were like, oh, I want to be in that group. You know, they're having awesome fun.
Yeah.
But I think, and also might have been because we were in the music scene as
Yeah.
well. Like we were in the bands that played around the areas, and when we did gigs, you know, there were people from a couple of years below that knew who we were and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's happened to me a few times as well. I've walked down the street after coming back from New Zealand, and people are like, "Oh, Mark, you're back. Oh, how was everything?" And I'm just like, "I don't know who you are. Like, how do you spell your name again?"
I found a great sort of out for that is if you just ask someone the name. So if
Yeah.
you just say, "What's your name?" and then they'll tell you their first name, and then you can go, "No, like I know your first
I
name,
know
I
your
know who
first
you
name.
are." And
What's
then
your
it's
last
like a
name?
good little out, because then like
Yeah.
they feel embarrassed, and then you're like, secretly, I had no idea who you were. But
I'm gonna use that. I was working on a farm last couple of days ago, planting some native trees out here, and the farmer, I remember his last name was Mr. Dodds, but I was trying to remember his first one, and I've been working for them for the last 2 days. He even pulled my my truck out of the dirt because I got it stuck, and he. I was like, oh man, what's his name? Like, I can't call him Mr. Dodds.
Oh,
Like,
that would be brilliant. Thank you, Mr. Dodds.
So I was like, afterwards, I was like, oh, I'll get your name. I'll get your phone number so I can give you a text next time I'm on the site, just to say that I'm here and health and safety. You know, I'll tell you when I leave. How do you spell your name? I'm so happy that he said Jeff. And I was like, I know Jeff. It's
Bob.
either Geff or Geoff. And he was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's Geoff. I said, yeah, just to clarify, Jeff. That's all. So I got so happy that it was that name. But if it was Bob, I'll be like,
Yeah.
Bob, because sometimes, you know, people spell
some
Bob.
people spell it with a silent F.
Yeah, it doesn't always work, that one, but
yeah, it can
sometimes
backfire
it does.
quite drastically.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's like I say, it's really nice just to speak to other musicians, other creative people, because I think the more people that hear that everyone's struggling and everyone's, to be honest, when I was trying to set up this sort of interview with you, there's part of me kind of expected, like, for you to say, I just don't, you know what, at the start you'd said, I just don't care, like I don't care, and like I'll do what I do, I don't care. Part of me expected that just to be so deeply embedded within you that you were just like, you know, I genuinely don't care. But for me, that seems so foreign and so abstract that somebody can be so, because I'll say it all the time. And do you know how you said before about, like, you know, you put it on, and if you've been bullied, you put like a mask on, and
the shell.
Like, it is. And
yeah,
I often say, and I feel weird saying this, but like, if I'm playing in the function band or I'm doing anything, for me to get through it, I have to pretend I'm like a character. It's not me on stage.
Why do you think I liked acting so much as a kid? Right, because you get bullied in high school, you start hating yourself.
Yeah.
And in acting, you get to play a different person all the way through it, you know, and you're a different character every time you're on stage, and you're playing someone else. And it wasn't until I got through high school and I got into college, when you meet other people like yourself and you get into that, you know, that group of people that are performers, and you know, they do music and all that kind of stuff, that you kind of realize, actually, you know what, I'm actually pretty cool. You know, I fit in here. I actually fit in somewhere. I'm not just a ginger pubed tall dickhead, you know, who everybody hates. You know, that's just high school for you. So I mean, I'm hoping that most kids can hear something like this and be like, yes, if you're getting bullied in high school, it's not going to go forever. Like it will pass. Kids are stupid and kids are dickheads. You will find
and
people
those
eventually.
people that are doing that are they're so insecure, and they're often like, it doesn't help when someone says this at the time and they'll say like they're just jealous, or they're just this. And you know what it is? It's so true that it's like, it's when you're in it and you've got someone that's like taking the piss out of you for something. And like I say this to some of my students, is like, there's people that used to rip it out of me for playing the guitar, or like, oh, going to band practice again, like it was a weird thing to do. Those same people of like in adult life now, like, can you come and play at my wedding? Can you come and do this? Can you come and do that? And this is like, who do you think they're listening to? You know, like the artists that they listen to, they have to put the work in. No one can magically do it without rehearsing. And it's just like, it's easy to poke fun at somebody and point at someone and say like, oh, like, haha, you're doing this. And it's, you think, well, like, it should be promoted. Like, yeah, you're putting yourself out there and doing something you love. Like, good for you.
I just don't. I didn't understand it in high school. I'm like, I don't understand the purpose of what they were doing. Like, it was literally, it wasn't even. They weren't laughing while they were doing it. Like, it felt weird. Like, I don't understand the purpose of making fun of what someone looked like, or what they were doing, or what they enjoyed doing. It just didn't make any sense to me. And I've had one, at least one of them that bullied me quite a lot. Messaged me on Facebook when they got older, and I'm older, you know, in their 30s. And they have messaged, apologized, and like just out of the blue, saying, "Oh, I just wanted to say, like, I'm real sorry about, you know, doing stuff in high school. I was a stupid kid, and all that stuff." And I really appreciate that. Look, I'm the kind of person that doesn't hold grudges or hate. So if someone's happy to, you know, message me and say, like, I'm sorry, then that's cool. Like, I'll be like, hey, it's all good. You know, it's high school. That's how things roll, which it shouldn't. You know, people should be drilled at a young age that, you know, people should be happy and be content with what they're doing. But I also think, if that kind of stuff didn't happen to me at high school, would I be the same as I am now, or would I be completely different? Like, would I, if I wasn't bullied in high school, would I, or first middle school, would I have gone into the acting side of things and gone and did this and get these skills? Would I have, you know, would I have found it, just gone, did normal stuff? Would I have gone into the people that I shouldn't necessarily be friends with, and gone in the wrong direction that way? And so, yeah, I mean, I always feel like things happen for a reason. I'm, you know, I joined bands with you and stuff like that, which started my musical kind of passion up as well. And then that kind of stemmed into my acting as well, which kind of brought that passion up as well. So I kind of look back at my life, and even though some of it was awful when it came to bullying and all that jazz, I still thank, you know, for what happened to kind of, it molded the shape that I am. It doesn't always happen like that to some kids. You know, some kids, they spiral into some probably dark, awful places. But I would love to see, you know, things like that change in high school, so that kids don't have to be, you know, worried and stressed out to do something that they love doing.
Yeah, it's something that really bugs me. Is like, obviously I'm working with, you know, students that have taken music, and they, you know, they love music. And it's one of the reasons I started, not so much the podcast, but the whole website that I put up of the Insecure Musician, is something that I notice in a lot of the students. Is it's not that they don't have the skills to do something. Like, anyone could learn a skill to play an instrument, or to develop their voice, but it's that, like, teaching them how to be, like, how to actually exist in the world, and like be respectful to one another. And it's okay, you know, to say it's okay. Like, I'm going to go for this note, I'm going to try it, and if I fall flat on my face, that's okay. Like, it's not something that people need to take the mick out of.
I've got a friend here, hope he's listening to this, called Ben, who part of TNT, and he started musical theatre a few years ago, and he's been striving to get himself a leading role in a musical over here. And his voice at the start, he said it wasn't too good. He said, but he's been practicing. He's been getting lessons, and we were doing Les Mis last year. And that was the first one I came back to TNT was, and I got I was just a few different characters. I wanted to get one of the main roles, and I was an understudy, so I was a bit disappointed. But I got to do some real cool characters and sing with the chorus and the ensemble and stuff. But I was sick one day. No, it wasn't. It was during a understudy read through and sing song, and we were just at the director's house. And Ben was the understudy for one of my characters, and the line was, "You've got some gall, you ugly slut," and it was that thing. And he said, "Oh, I don't know if I can do this because it's quite a big, shouty, angry song bit, real cool thing." And I said, "Look, mate, just go for it. It's just have some fun, Just don't worry about what other people are going to think about you. Just do it." And he was like, "Oh, okay, I will." And he got up, all the confidence in his world, and it came to that line when it was supposed to be, "You've got some gall, you ugly slut." He just shouted at the top of his lungs, "You've got some slut." Everybody just fell out laughing, and he was laughing as well. Yeah. And when you understand that, the people around you just are happy that you just gave it a shot and just did it,
Yeah.
And it was just a real funny comedy line. But he found the funny side of it rather than the embarrassing side of it, because he dishes that out just as much as he receives it. To be honest, and he did the same thing in a song when we're standing up there, and he was filling in for someone else, but it was during the orchestra. The orchestra was there. We had all the cast there, and the cast was singing in the microphones with all the orchestra, and he had to sing a really high note. And he was like, "Oh, I'm not confident about this." I said, "Again, mate, just go for it. Just go as hard as you can. Just go for it." And he belted it too hard, and his voice cracked really high into the and then all the orchestra and it just stopped, and everybody just looked at him, and everybody just cracked up laughing, and so did he. And and that's you gotta have the confidence to be able to laugh at yourself when you don't do it. But now he did a musical called That Bloody Woman, and it was so good. He got a couple of songs in that, so good in it. He's a backing vocalist for Queen, and the backing vocals in Queen songs and We Were Rocky, they've got some pretty high notes and stuff like that. He's doing really well. So I've got heaps of confidence that he will get himself a leading role in a musical pretty soon.
Keep going for it. That really nice? Like when I've spoke to, it was actually, I'm going to bring Greenia back into the podcast here, but can
I be in that one as well? Yeah. When you bring him back, have a chat with him. Yeah, and I'll ask him why he keeps making fun of my musical choices.
But no, I was speaking to him not on the podcast, but I was speaking to him a while back and saying about, like, it's nice that there's so many of the nice people that we grew up with that are doing well for themselves. And like, it makes me really happy when I see like the group of really nice people that, that I think a lot of that are doing really well. And like, that's a place that I don't think I could have imagined myself being when I was a teenager. Because when you were talking about the jealousy before, that's something that it's driven me for a long time. Like with the guitar playing and stuff, I'd see someone else doing something and think like, well, why can't I do that? Like when I do it, it sounds crap. And I want to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think competitiveness is good, but it has to be balanced in the right way. And like you were saying about the laughing at yourself and being able to, there was a lad that I was away with at this residential called Rich, who's going to be a guest on the next episode, hopefully. But when we were in choir together, so we were all singing tenor parts together. Yeah. And for one of these songs,
you were singing tenor.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So we were all in a big tenor group together, and for one of the songs, it was called Bully Boys. It was like a shanty thing, and it was really high energy. And it was like our favorite song to sing, and we were all belting it all together. And when you're saying about like your friend going for something, and like we were all saying how much we were getting more confident with the singing parts. And Rich was stood behind me, and he was belting it so hard that he was ending up. I think he was ending up on like one of the soprano lines, like going really high, like going for it. Everyone's like stopping and turning around. And it was at that moment, like Adam, the sort of choir master, had stopped everyone. And Rich was on this like super high note, and we're like, "Oh, high notes there, mate." But you have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Of course you do. Of course you do. If you don't, and that's the problem. If you don't laugh at yourself, if you think that you've done something wrong, you won't try it again.
Yeah.
And if you laugh at yourself, like, okay, that failed, but I'm going to do it again. Later on, maybe I'll do it in the car or in the shower or something.
Yeah.
And then I'll go out there and I'll try it again. If I fail, I'll laugh at myself again. It's fine. Because people will be expecting you to do it again, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is going to be funny again. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then you do it, then they go, "Oh shit, yeah, that's awesome. Well done." I think, it's been a real eye opener, the whole getting back into the musical theatre, because in the UK and the Maltings, musical theatre was good, but it wasn't as dedicated as this one. I mean, this is TMT, Tauranga Musical Theatre, so it's dedicated just for musical theatre.
Yeah.
And they get in consortiums and stuff, like the big sets and stuff that are touring around the country.
Nice.
For the big ones. Like Les Mis, I had the rotating stage and all that kind of stuff, and we had actual full orchestras playing the music and stuff. It's a lot more serious than I thought it was going to be. Like, it's a real serious musical, and like I'm saying, everybody's reading sheet music that I don't know how to read and all that kind of stuff. And there's the choir and the backing vocals, and the ensemble's really hard working. Like, you've all got basses, tenors, altos, sopranos, all doing different things, and it was a real, like, shit, where am I? Like, I don't know much of the stuff, so I'm having to learn a lot of stuff while doing it. But I've had to, I'm having to learn some heaps more techniques than I've been learning, than I know about. That I just came into this thinking, oh, I can sing this kind of stuff. I've done musicals before, and doing the Les Mis, it was a bit of a knock. I was like, I can go and get Javert, that character. He's a bass. He can do some pretty. I can do the song perfectly.
Yeah.
But it was emotion during the songs, which is the biggest thing that I've had to learn.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're acting. It's not just singing a song. Like, you can't just act, sing a song, la la la. You've got to act, sing a song while you're still acting in the emotion.
Singing in character and conveying emotion really hard. Yeah.
And that was a big knock for me, because I was understudy for Javert, but I didn't get it because I wasn't showing enough emotion during the song, but I did when I was in the ensemble. I had 4 or 5 different characters that I would, and I had to change character every time. And it was from that the director got me and said, "Oh, do you want to be in another show with me at the end of the year?" So I'm doing another show with her at the end of the year. You kind of show that you can do the characters, and you're learning about the characters, and you can learn songs. So yeah, it's a big one, and it's kind of stormed that passion that I want to do musical theatre for a while now, and it's another skill that I want to learn, and just add on to that skill bank that I've got. I am doing other projects at the minute as well. So obviously I'm writing my own musical the minute with a friend of mine who's helping with the backing music. I've got a side project that I'm going to be doing on the internet. We're doing kind of like doom rock. Nice. Have you ever heard of a band called Dr. Colossus?
Yeah. You've shared some of that with me in the past, I think.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Dr. Colossus and Gnomes. Have you heard of Gnomes? They're great, man.
I've not, man. Send me some stuff over. I'll definitely have a listen.
They're very niche music. It's just basically a bunch of guys dressed as gnomes, and they're singing about garden things. But it sounds shit, but they are so technically
I'm
good.
imagining kind of like very like folky, like folk metal and kind of
No,
like Viking-esque.
it's not. It's doom rock. So it's kind of like it's kind of more like Dr. Colossus, and it's like Red Fang as well. They're brilliant, Red Fang.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but I'm wanting to do. I don't want to take it seriously. I want to. Well, me and my friend Will are doing. We're going to be doing EPs of pop culture things. So each EP is going to be about something different. So we're probably going to do Lord of the Rings to start with. He's got a really good metal growl. He's so good. Like he's very cool. So he's going to play all the villains with his growl and stuff, and we're going to be quite heavy stuff. He's going to do the villain stuff. So he might be Sauron or the Nazgul and stuff like that. Whereas I'll be the Fellowship. I'll be like Gandalf and all that kind of stuff, singing songs, doing the things. So that's going to be fun. And I'm also doing another like a synthwave kind of stuff with my friend who's a DJ called Ethan, who goes by the name of Hatter. He does some pretty cool DJ stuff.
Nice.
That's who you should be talk. You should talk to Pensacola Mist. Get them on stage. Get them on the podcast.
I'm gonna try and do you know? I've seen them live a couple of times, and I've been blown away with how much effort and how professional that their show was. And I don't just mean the music.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and take some of the sixth form students to actually go and see Pensacola, because to me that totally raised the game.
They've just been signed. Obviously, they just got signed. And for me, I was like, I'm going to be fucking jealous here, aren't I? I'm going to be real, because Oliver's a real good friend of mine. I've done improv with him.
You've done the damn night stuff, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been. He's a real good friend of mine. I'm going to be jealous. He's going through one of my dreams that I want to do. But actually, it's like, because I'm older. I'm like 35 now. I'm just like, mate, that's so freaking good. Well done. That's amazing. Keep going. Get to the moon. It's so good for you. I'm so happy for them. But get them on. Find out how they're so confident to just stand up there and put on their own light shows and all that stuff.
Honestly, like I'd seen them. It was, I think, the first show they'd had the female singer. I'm really awful with names. Yeah, and I went along. I think it was me and Martin went along to the radio rooms to see them. Because I was I'd heard a lot of good things, and like the whole synthwave thing, it's totally new to me, and I've just been sort of dipping my toe in, and like the stuff Zenon does with synthwave is absolutely sick as well. And honestly, the whole it was the same thing. I don't really know the guys from Pensacola, but at the end of the gig, like I thought I'm going to have to say something to them, because I don't want them to leave and think like, that people aren't really enjoying that. And I was like, guys, that was so good. Like I can't get over how professional that is. And just
I'm real good friends. Sick. I'm real good friends with Oliver. I'm real good friends with Dan Cox. I was I was in a musical. I was in the pantomime with Melissa. She was the princess during the last one I did, which was not Sinbad. I was Prime Minister Hoo-Ha on that one. I can't make. You know what it is with being in shows. Like I'll do a show and then I'll have to learn another one, and then I push the other one out. I can't remember some shows that I've done. But yeah, I met her in one of those pantomimes. She's awesome. She's got a real good voice.
I thought the harmonies were meant, like the choreography and stuff, and the way that, like, excuse me, it wasn't just a collection of songs. When I went to see them, it was so well thought out, and there was a narrative right from song one right to the end, and I just thought like wow. Whenever I've planned a gig, it's a collection of songs. I've not thought about
that's synthwave though. That's synthwave. Look at Zenon's albums. Zenon, it's synthwave's a story. It's basically 80s. Stranger Things is basically, there you go. Stranger Things has renewed like music in 80s music. Just look at like Kate Bush and stuff, and Running Up That Hill and things like coming back, and that's ignited synthwave basically again. And Pentacle and Mist and Xenon are running that wave, and it's a good wave to be on. I love synthwave. I listen to it all the bloody time.
Yeah.
But every synthwave album you look at, most of them, they have a narrative, they have a story that they're following, and it's usually an 80s theme, which is real cool. And it's some real cool videos online. And if you like 80s movies and stuff like that, synthwave is the way to go. But yeah, I'd love them both. Try and get Pentacle and Mist, all three of them on.
I'm gonna try and get I'll shoot them a message. I always feel I'm gonna have to get over it, but I always feel a bit weird approaching people to do these things, because I always feel like it feels like I have an agenda of, you know, if I want to get something out, and I genuinely don't. I really love talking to musicians, and like,
well, it might be the best time to get them, because if they get real famous, then you're probably gonna have to pay for them to be on the podcast. So
right, I'm gonna send them a message now.
Get them on now, because I remember when I was at college and I tried, I think it was, I can't even remember who it was. It was a famous band that were coming to Newcastle to play, and I was like, oh, I'm on the radio. I had a radio slot in the university. You know how they do like university radio. And my show was called Convince Me, and it was like a paranormal metal show where I did like little slots of paranormal stuff, and then I had to put some metal music and stuff in there. I might have been Angels and Airwaves, or was it? Or one of the, I think it was Angels and Airwaves. And I said, oh, cool. So he's into UFOs. So it might be cool to get him on and have a chat with him. So I emailed the agent, and he's like, oh yeah. So it's $10,000 to get him to come and have a chat with you for 20 minutes. I was like, see you later. It's like $10,000. Are you kidding? Just have a chat on the radio. It's a bloody university radio. No one listens to it apart from me.
I know. And it's, do you know, it's just, I think it's nice to kind of like for everyone to support each other, and like,
hell yeah.
You know, I love seeing, like I said before, I love seeing like good things happen to good people. It just makes me so happy when everyone, you know, I see people doing things that they love and they're doing well with it. And even if something's not commercially successful, if somebody's happy in what they're doing, like I think to me that's like you've just won at life. You know,
my dream at the minute, and it's not a real big dream, is to get my musical finished, get the songs recorded, and possibly get on Spotify, but to have it staged, even in a real small theater with a cast, and just see it on stage with music playing. I don't even care if a lot of people come and see it. I just want to have something that I've written on stage performed by other people and sang by other people. And to see how it goes, even if it's a terrible show, just to have it on stage.
You're saying that, and I know it absolutely won't be, because that's your drive and you want to do it. I know you'll make it happen. I've said this to a few people, but I'd always thought that either yourself or Xenon from high school would be one of the two people that would make something really big, sort of in terms of like creative or musical things. And I still do. I genuinely do believe that you both will do something incredibly, you know, fantastic with music.
Xenon's getting there faster.
You know, but like it's weird because when you look at his Instagram, for example, you know, he's got ridiculous following, and he's so prolific with his output of music. And like I've spoke to him about it and said, like, how do you produce like such quantity of music, but not just the quantity of it, like the quality that goes along with it as well, because anyone could churn out 10 songs that they weren't really happy with. Everything that I listen to of his, like the melodies are just killer, the lyrics are killer. It's so well produced.
He's so good, man.
Makes you
like
sick,
I love him,
doesn't it?
That bastard doing well for himself. Now I honestly wish, I mean, although in high school I was real jealous of him, and through that jealousy I automatically just thought, like, oh, I don't like him because he obviously doesn't like me, because, you know, he's in that other aspect of talent.
He's in the
he's
cool,
real good,
successful group over there.
Successful group. But honestly, like even when I talked to him in high school, he was so nice. You know, he wasn't one of those people that was a dick. You know, there were those kind of people that you try to talk to and they just. But he was one of the guys that would have time for you and chat to you, and I thought that was awesome.
And he still is like that's
exactly.
I just think he's someone that has like to me hasn't changed at all since high school. What the only thing that's changed is like we've got older and we're more mature. Well, I say mature, but like a bit wiser perhaps.
Yeah.
And like it's really nice because when you can start speaking to people and you go, actually, like if we had spoke to each other from the start and connected more, everyone could have been so much further forward.
I could have been in the band Zenon, and I could have been I could have been leeching off his success.
I know, that's the dream. Moochie moochie. But yeah, man.
I'll get somewhere. But I mean, I'm doing what I love at the minute. Like I'm a team leader in a conservation project at the minute in Caddy, where in New Zealand, where I'm basically helping restoring New Zealand to its natural state that we fucked up the country. So people have introduced species that are just killing everything else. So I'm planting 6,000 trees in 2 weeks and being out there in the forest and the bush and stuff like that. That's what I love doing. And at the minute, musical side of things is kind of a side hobby / hustle, and I don't want to stop doing that, but it is secondary the minute for me. It's not something that I'm going to stop doing, and it's not something that I've thought to myself and gave up saying, it's probably I'm not going to be able to get famous with it or anything like that. I've never thought that I was going to be famous. I've never thought that in my life, and I don't think I particularly will, and I don't care.
I was going to say, do you not think though, if that's the goal, then there's no like that you've got it wrong. Like, it would be lovely for someone else to look at something you've done and say, I really like that. Yeah. But if fame is the goal, like you need to stop really, because
why is fame a goal? Like, I don't understand. Like, look at Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Like, and Amber Heard. Why would you want to be that famous? to have your dirty laundry. Like,
I think everyone wants like affirmation of like someone to say you've done well. Like that's really good. Like I still crave it now, and I'm sure everyone else on the planet likes that. That's really good. But really, I think what does matter is that you care. Like what you're doing. There's no one else's opinion should really matter with these things. As long as you're happy and you're working towards something, like you've won. There's nothing else matters.
Exactly. And and when I see people who are successful like Pensacola and Zen, and I'm really happy for them. And I want them to do even better. And they've got a goal obviously that they want to get to. And it may not necessarily be famous. I know Oliver really just wants to entertain people. That's been his thing. He wants to entertain people and produce great things, and he has been, and that's awesome. And it's the same. It's the same for me. That's what I want to do. I want to create a better world for my son. At the minute, sorry, we've got 1 minute 30, which is what I'm doing. My priorities changed when my son was born.
Yeah, not when your son was born for me, but when my daughter. That would be weird, wouldn't it?
From being quite a selfish, this is what I want to do, to I'm nearly halfway through death. I'm going to die like in another half a life. My son will be alive. I need to make sure that things are set for him. That was my priority.
Yeah, man. Well, look, we're going to get cut off. I would love to speak to you again, but if we do get cut off, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, my man.
Yeah, man.
Have a wonderful.
We should have an interview. We should have an interview with Andrew Guinia one time, and me him at the same time.
Let's do it. I look forward to meeting you in that battle.
All right, man. Thanks so much for having me on, mate. Love you.
Love you, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
Toodles.